welcome back to the channel. We're back for another year of CDL Fantasy here in the channel. We're going to be covering the Call of Duty League in its entirety for the whole season in regards to fantasy content here in the XP Fuel channel. If you guys have any concerns, any questions, leave them down in the comments. And if you're curious about the esports scene and information, stay tuned. I got a lot of info coming for betting purposes and just knowledge in general. So for those of you that watched me last season, I covered the entirety of the Cold War season when it came to betting information and league information for the esport. Now we're going to have the title of Call of Duty Vanguard, which is taking place this 2022 season. We're going to have all the games and layouts of the matches structured differently, based on Activision or the CDL's template of what they want the season to look like. Now everything's going to look different. We're going to know in advance most of the matches into the season, specifically all the way into Major 4 and the tournament weekend there. We know every single match that's going to happen up until the championship, so that's really good. That's good for theorizing, what's going to be the outcomes of games, or just, maybe seeing mismatches down the road. But with that being said, we have a new season. That means more content, more footage to grind and see who are the best bets here in the Call of Duty League for this 2022 season. For you who watched, I know this video is a little late, but last week we had the first Kickoff Classic of the 2022 season, and we saw some surprising things happen. Some teams that weren't so good last year are starting now to look, nice and fresh in terms of new players, like the Seattle Surge, which was completely redone from the ground up. They have 4 new players who look to be, really promising. They destroyed everybody, and I'm talking, of course, of Civ, Accuracy, Mac, and Pred. These players hadn't played together before, but now that they're on the Seattle Surge, they're looking, to be one of the best so far, just based on the first weekend that we've seen here. So everybody probably knows now that Toronto Ultra took the crown at the end of the day, but it wasn't without a fight. Seattle Surge made it all the way down to the finals. They beat London Royal Ravens, they beat FaZe, they beat the Subliners, and they made it all the way to the finals against Ultra, and they ultimately lost. But this just goes to show that Toronto Ultra is still in their game. Even though Seattle Surge is a team that is looking now promising, you never know what's going to happen here. A lot of other teams that have been doing good too. Toronto Ultra, they had to fight through it, but they're still one of the top teams in the game. We can see here their performance. As you can see, Seattle Surge won the first match on Bocage 250 to 103. It was a back and forth match. They ended up taking the first one, and then Toronto subsequently, took the next 3 in a great fashion. Just Seattle Surge taking the first game from Toronto says a lot from the power that Seattle has now with this rebuild squad. But the SND in Tuscan was 6-4, pretty close. I would say the Control in Tuscan also 3-2, pretty close. I would say pretty close games here. But then the last one, if you were watching the final live, you see the one in Berlin, 250 to 71. I was watching this game in real time, and Seattle Surge they flopped, they choked. So that was that. But they had a great first tournament. I really look forward to seeing Seattle Surge play more this year, a lot more this year. And of course, it's great to see that Toronto's still at the top with another couple of teams. So as you can see here, we had an interesting set of games that I'll go one by one with. For the first round, we had a Surge against Royal Ravens, which ended in a 3-0 from the Surge. that's great to see that they're 3-0 teams already. We have the Subliners against the new Boston Breach, which is also a new team that just formed into the CDL. It's good to know that franchises are trying to get into the system and are spending money to get into the ecosystem of CDL. And Boston Breach was that team, composed of TJ Halley and Memphis that also looked pretty good and promising. Although they lost to the Subliners, they looked like they were playing pretty good. It was a close one, 3-2. They made Subliners work for it pretty much. Florida Mutineers against Gorillas. This is one where you'd hear Gorillas, was a surefire win just because, the Florida Mutineers didn't look good on paper or whatnot. Florida Mutineers ended up taking, the match against LA Gorillas, and they proved that, even though they've made some player changes, I believe they have one new player that was changed, or two new players that were changed. I know Neptune left to the Subliners. They're still looking pretty good. The LA Thieves, obviously beat the Legion. Legion didn't have a hot start either. They're not, it's fresh new team, fresh new faces, but they didn't look too comfortable with themselves. This one was the crazy one. Seattle Surge against Atlanta FaZe. This is the one that surprised everybody. Everybody had Atlanta winning, and surprisingly, Seattle Surge stunned them 3-1. Surprised it wasn't a 3-0, but I'm just glad Atlanta FaZe put a 1 on the board at least. And Subliners 3-0 Rocker. That was pretty crazy too. Pretty crazy match. Minnesota Rocker of all teams was in a team that was, thought of to get 3-0'd, especially against the Subliners. Everybody was thinking it was going to be a tight game possibly, but that's not the way it happened. Toronto Ultra beat the Mutineers 3-1. That's where the Mutineers ended their run, just 2 games in. And then the big one, Optic Texas also got upset by LA Thieves 3-1. I heard everybody was, not really playing good, but, it's crazy to see that now teams are starting to look totally different. And Optic is one of those teams that is, expected to outperform and be maybe, if not the best, top 2 team in the whole CEL. So it's crazy to see that they're already getting blown out of the water like this. Seattle Surge beat the New York Subliners, which is crazy because the New York Subliners is a pretty good team. Toronto beat Thieves, and then, like we talked previously, made it to the finals. Overall, it was a great Kickoff Classic. I enjoyed watching the few matches that I did get to watch, and I am looking forward to going through and talking about these teams in depth in the coming videos. I'm going to be uploading a lot frequently now that both the HCS and the Call of Duty season are in full swing, so expect to see more of those videos. Very nice Kickoff Classic. We got to learn a lot about the new teams, and we got to see what teams are starting to look fresh and starting to look good together. So that's what I was going to talk about in this video. Look out for the videos to come for betting advice. And if you like the content, leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe. And thank you for your viewership. See you later.